Right, just going to have a very quick look over the road, only a very quick one. We're at Compton, National Trust car park at Compton. I've had this cold for quite a while now. It's been pretty stubborn. I'm not the only one that's had a cough for a long time around Ventnor. It's a really stubborn cold that, well, it's not really cold anymore, it's just chesty cough. Hopefully it will clear up in the not too distant future. I've dropped the resolution or whatever it is down to 1080p from 4K just to try and reduce the amount of storage it's taken up on my poor computer. Not that I keep the footage after I've uploaded it, but just rendering and all that, just my little computer's a bit knackered now. It takes forever. And it buffers a lot, and hence the need for a new computer. Scan along this shrubby hedgerow. Nice white throat. So this is Dunsbury, which is a National Trust kind of rewilding place, although I don't think they're allowed to call it rewilding. So it was arable up until a couple of years ago. And they've reverted the arable through natural regeneration, they've reverted it to grassland. And now it's basically grazed by a low number, very small number of cattle, longhorns I think. Or maybe not longhorns, I can't remember. Don't think they've got any ponies, and certainly not got any pigs here that I've seen. They're the three components on a really good rewilding project in terms of big ecosystem engineers. So cattle that are in place of wild cattle, the oryx, which is globally extinct, but we used to have wild cattle wandering around. India still has their wild cattle. So if you go to national parks in India, you'll see banteng, which are wild cattle. We used to have the equivalent here, which was called oryx. The whole of Europe used to have them, but they went globally extinct, and I think the last one was 1500s. It's very sad. But domestic cattle, the ones the farmers use, are all derived from those wild cattle. So we basically domesticated those wild cattle, just as your dog was derived from wolves. Domesticated wolves, the older cattle such as longhorns were derived from domesticated wild cattle, oryx. So yeah, they've certainly got the oryx replacement here, but can't see any, well, I've not seen any ponies, can't see any cattle at the moment, not seen any ponies which are in place of the globally extinct, and again, European wild horse or tarpan, which again we used to have in the UK and used to range across Europe. So that's cattle, ponies, and then pigs, which are obviously in place of wild boar, which is not globally extinct. They're still pretty numerous in Europe, and there's a few in the UK, but you're not allowed to reintroduce wild boar because it's considered to be problematic as far as disease transmission goes. The problem is, though, it's not the wild boar that spread diseases. It's the risk is that the domestic pigs will spread diseases into the wild boar population. Of course, we blame the boar because farmers are a very powerful lobby group and they don't want to be blamed. So we blame the wildlife rather than farming. Anyway, so they're the three elements that you also have on a rewilding project. The National Trust, as far as I know, only has cattle, no ponies and no pigs. Another whitethroat. Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see how this place develops, how much scrubby habitat comes in, hopefully quite a lot from my point of view. I'd like to see a lot more shrubby habitat, so we have a lot more things like whitethroats. Oh, it's looking really interesting actually. There's a red-legged partridge. Yeah, there's bramble coming into this field. Great stuff, it's looking good. Well, I haven't got very long because I've got a boat to catch, but let's have a quick look at some of this bramble, see if there's anything else shrubby coming up through the bramble. It acts as a natural set up there, set the whitethroat. Yeah, pair of whitethroats. So bramble acts as the wild barbed wire. So you get these mounds of bramble, and then other seedlings of other shrub species can grow up through the bramble. And they get protected by the wild barbed wire, nature's barbed wire. What have we got here? So looks like it's only bramble in this little clump. Rubus fruticosus, ruby fruity. So that would be the blackbirds probably, and the song thrushes and redwings and fieldfares that have pooped out blackberry seeds, bramble seeds. It's a lovely open sward. So not much grass in here at all, which is another really good thing from a wildlife point of view. Too much grass and the wildflowers won't get a toehold. There's plenty of, well, there's very little grass and plenty of bare ground for the wildflower seed to germinate. A couple of Canada geese down on the pond there. Moving on. Let's have a look at this bramble clump, then I've got to go back down to the car and get to the ferry terminal. Should be a nice crossing with the sun. Oh no, maybe a bit early for a sunset. Never mind. Yeah, lovely patch of bramble here. What's that over there? Is that hawthorn or blackthorn? Outside of any bramble, which is interesting and nice. They've obviously got their own thorns. Skylarks. It's blackthorn. That's obviously not come from suckers, it's come from seeding, presumably. Great stuff. Wow, lovely thorns on there to protect itself from the browsers and grazers. Lovely project. Well done, National Trust, it's looking good. I'm not always complimentary of the National Trust, but when I think they deserve it, they get compliments. Quite arrogant, isn't it, really, of me? Here a yellowhammer as well. Lovely male yellowhammer. Might be able to hear it, obviously you're not going to be able to see it. So don't forget, if you want a copy of my van life book, which I've just published, called Breaking Free, there is a link to it in the description below this video. And it's available on Amazon as a paperback or as a Kindle ebook. And I will soon have a hardcover version available on Amazon. And then I'll make it available on a load of other online bookshops as well if you don't like shopping on Amazon. Lovely yellowhammer. Wish I'd had the bigger camera down with me now. Can hear a lesser white. Oh no, hang on. Chetty's warbler. I think that was a Chetty's warbler anyway. Right, so let's get back to the car and then head along the rest of the military road.